Hey everybody, it is me, Omi. I'm sorry I'm a bit behind, had a little technical difficulties, but I am here. It is for our Wednesday community review session. Just, as you know, getting my little technicals in. Okay. So, yeah, sorry I'm behind. Hi, everyone. And just wanted to say thank you for joining me. And just, please invite everyone here so we can have our second week of community review sessions, talks. I'm here in a different location, and because I have a special guest today, and this is to help us really dive deep into what it really looks like when it comes to creating solutions for our young children and kids who are in school, who are school age, and what we can do to help really improve our educational systems and to help them prepare for higher paying jobs, So I know I'm a little bit behind, but hopefully that'll give time for people to settle down, have some dinner, and, grab a drink or so and just relax. So if you're in here, again, welcome and thanks for joining us. I'm going to get right into the topic of tonight, and this is going to be building on last week's discussion about the quality of our education and what impacts that for our students. And so I'm going to bring on my screen here, presentation here, and I believe it should be showing pretty soon. Boom, boom, boom. What am I doing? There we go. Let's see. Those are the slides. 1 second. And again, we are building on the topic of preparing our students for life after high school. Make sure I got this right. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so, but before I begin, I do want to preface something. I want to just make a statement in regard to the fact that I know that I talk about a lot of issues regarding education, and at the core of it all is our our culture as Samoans. And what I want to say is that I want this space to be inviting. And I know because we're dealing with a lot of different issues, I just want to thank everyone for joining us, because again, these are topics that have not been addressed, in depth, at least in my experience growing up, going through the school systems as a Samoan, a Pacific Islander student and now parent, etc. And I just want to, again, just thank you and encourage everyone, parents, students, everyone in the community, to just really embrace this opportunity and these discussions. And so again, I just wanted to share my heartfelt thanks, and just for allowing me to share my experiences. And you'll see that with the guests that I bring on into our series as well, is that our goal is to just share who we are, because we're not studying these things in school. We're not getting these things from books. These are literally from us, as Samoans and Pacific Islanders. So I just want to, again, thank you for opening your homes and your families to us so that we can share our experiences with hopes that it's going to help us prepare the way and the roadmap and around the students that we have in our homes, and our communities. And so just a quick review about what we were talking about in, hi, Flutza. So reviewing what we've been talking about in that, who do we believe is responsible for educating our children? And last week we thought that the school it's them, right? For the home, it's us. For the community, it's their job, right? This week we understand it's an us job. It's if we all come together and surround our students, then we will be able to create a much better environment and better the school systems around us, around them, the students. And the three entities that we focus on are the community, the home, and the school. And the fact that there are adults in these three entities that surround our students. And if we do a better job by working together as adults, then we, the community, the home, and the schools will have a much better nest for them to be nurtured in, and just to really get prepared for these higher paying, more impactful jobs, instead of just getting those crumbs that are left with whatever we can do with a high school degree, right? And so if you agree, just go ahead and share your comments and posts, and again, just give us your experiences. Okay, and again, hi to everyone. Hi, Paula. Nice to have you here. And again, so this is where we're at in week 2. And again, I have a special guest. I cannot wait to bring his experience, his life experience to the table. So again, that you can see this game plan that we have for our community and for ourselves as parents and adults around our children is definitely going to make an impact. Okay, and then, so let's see. And again, so the problem is, now that we've identified the three entities around our students, the problem is, the reason why they're lacking in these opportunities is because it's our lack of relationship between these three entities: community, home, and school. And so we want to really dive into those three entities that are around our children in the middle, okay, and how they're being educated. Okay, and with that, just as a reminder, these are the adults that are in our homes. Okay, so I think you can see my cursor as I move it around. You will see the adults that are part of the home environment are our parents. Hi, Susie. Guardians, family members, and friends. And in the community side, the adults that are involved are people who run the organizations, the nonprofit organizations, food banks, community centers, the resources that were given by funders, again, community members that are out there just volunteering and things of that nature, churches, people who are running our stores, libraries, etc. So there's a lot of adults, again, that are in these two separate entities. And our goal today in phase 1 of 3 is to really help these adults, us adults, right, to connect together for the sake of our children's education, okay? And to really dive into a prime example of how this system works, I have my very special guest. His name is Toa'ale Suiava Mulitauaopele Jr. And as if you'll probably be able to tell by his last name, he's my oldest brother. So everyone, please welcome my special guest, Toa'ale. And I'm trying to make sure I got us let me bring him on over. We're actually at his home. So thank you for allowing me to use your home this week. And I just put up on the screen for you guys, just to give you just a history and background of my brother. Again, so as you can see, he's the first one to be accepted into Lowell High School back in 1984. Relax. Okay, and Lowell High School, for everyone that's from California, knows that Lowell High School is the top ranking high school in academics in California, the whole state. So that was his first, I feel, watching you grow up, this was one of the major ahas, like, wow, this can happen. And then he also became, after high school, after he graduated, oh, I think I have the dates off.
That's okay.
Okay.
No,
I'll fix those.
That's right.
Okay, because you graduated. Okay, yeah, good.
Yep.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay, so now I'm nervous. So he was the first someone to graduate from the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis. He is so, and you can see all of our viewers and supporters coming in. So can you guys see Neil? See him? Okay. Are you
I'm all
on
right.
the side?
Yeah,
Okay.
that is good. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to make it. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he went to the Naval Academy. I missed him so much when he had to go. But while he was there, he was a 5th Battalion commander. He was responsible for the professional and academic development of 1,200 midshipmen in university terms, the undergraduates. He was also a member, and like I mentioned to you guys, we come from a singing family, right? He's the oldest of us 5, and that's where it all began, really, with mom and dad, right? Mommy and daddy. So he was a member of the Barbershop Quartet, and I'll give you the years, you can read those, and a member of the Men's Glee Club. And these are all amazing singing opportunities that he took advantage of, and did so amazingly well. He performed on Broadway in the tribute to Mary Martin, a screen legend who appeared in the original 40s and 50s movie classic South Pacific. A lot of our maybe aunties, uncles, and parents out there of our generation will know those. I learned some of these things just now as I interviewed my brother finally, because he's so busy. And again, thank you. It's his day off, and I kidnapped him. I just brought myself over, and so, so Mary Martin, she was a screen legend who appeared in this movie, and she was also the original Maria von Trapp in The Sound of Music. She was also the original Peter Pan, and at first I thought, I was like, wait, Mary Martin, like a dude? And he's like, no, it was a woman. So Google this. So he was on Broadway for a tribute to her, and all what she's done in the industry. And also he performed in the annual televised Christmas in Washington special that was hosted at the White House. And that's what we loved growing up, watching him. We were all just gathered around the TV and got to see, our brother perform with the Naval Academy. So cool. And so after college, the Naval Academy, he finished while there, he finished the top 3 in his graduating class, and he was selected to enter into the Naval Aviation program. And so he completed flight school in Pensacola, Florida, where he earned his Navy Wings of Gold as a helicopter pilot. And then after he earned his wings, he was recruited by Microsoft as a network engineer and spent 30 years in the IT industry in aerospace and defense. While there, these are the types of skill sets he has as an IT strategic planning, IT strategic planning, regulatory compliance, and IT infrastructure. And now he's here again. We're in his home tonight, and he's a single parent, single daddy of my 14-year-old son, his son, my nephew, Toa'ale, Mulitauaopele. Welcome.
Wow. Thank you. And just quickly, I just wanted to share with everyone how uncomfortable that was for me to sit here and hear all that. I just also, of all the things I've done, I think I'm more nervous now than in anything I've done. But I just wanted to say thank you for including this for me. It's an honor to be here, and I'm very proud of the work that everyone is doing, and I'm just excited for the fact that programs like this exist. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go over some questions. Okay, so now that let's go back to your high school time. Okay. So tell our viewers and our supporters a little bit about your upbringing. What was it like?
That's a great question. Well, I'll just go right out and say it. I was entering high school, and this would have been the early 80s. So 1984 was when I was a freshman in high school. But leading up to then, there weren't very many resources that I could see or that mom could see, or if there were, they didn't do a very good job. I'm not sure, but for whatever reason, it just didn't seem like there was resources available at the time. But that being said, that never stopped us.
Yeah. Now, seeing all of the accolades that you've achieved, a lot of people, especially in my circles, would think, wow, you got a lot of help. You must have, you must have been born with a silver spoon, and there were so many opportunities for you. What was it like, again, with daddy and mom, and just first coming here, being here? Like, tell us about that.
I wish that were true at the time, but for lack of a better phrase or what have you, much of it was mom and dad looking at what was required, because there were no pamphlets. And remember too, this was pre-internet. So a lot of footwork was done to get information to find out what the best high school was. We started there. Information gathering was really slow back then.
Yeah.
But despite that, it was hard having to actually go to a physical library to look up information. But our bottom line was, if that's what it took, then that's what we needed to do. So a lot of manual work to just gather information. So I think that's where I would start. Information gathering was really difficult back then.
Did you grow up rich?
Oh, no. We are very familiar with the subsidized housing system. Grew up in the projects.
Food stamps, all of that.
And this was in California. So but we were at Old Holly Park before it became new. Everything was great here.
Oh, when we moved in the 90s.
Yep. And so from the Old Holly Park up here.
Well, first Sunnydale, Geneva Towers.
Sunnydale.
For all of our California viewers.
Yes. For California
Geneva Towers.
natives, the Geneva Towers, Sunnydale.
Swampy Desert was the name. It was that.
Yes.
We were that poor that no one wants to be in a swamp or a desert.
Right.
And that's where they named us.
Yep.
Right.
But nowadays, I think the politically correct term is that we had very humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
but despite that, one thing that was very prevalent was the importance of education.
Right. Did you have a working mom and dad?
Mom was a stay-at-home mom. We grew up in the church. Father was pastor of the church. So again, he was the only income stream at the time. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. Dad was the pastor of our church. We were the choir for the church growing up. And so as far as community, church was very integral.
Right.
And we didn't have a lot of, I guess, luxury items growing up. So,
I remember. I just didn't want to be the only one to tell our story. So I'm glad you're here to confirm everything and what we've been through.
No.
Okay, so as you were going through high school, what kind of, do you remember any community resources or, again, if we go back to these adults and these, do you remember any types of adults that helped, or?
I wish I wish there were more, but I know from the start, at the time, my most accessible resource was my guidance counselor, in high school. Was
it easy to get to the guidance counselor? Because as far as, what I've seen with the students and the after school programs that I've worked with and the staffing, that's a very difficult thing. I covered it a little bit last week of students even getting in, contact.
It is now, and it was even worse back then. even though
lucky, but
even though the guidance counselor was available, yes, I will admit it was difficult to get time with one-on-one time with the counselor to address my specific needs for where I wanted to go.
Was he or she white or black or Asian?
She was white in her 30s.
Okay.
But I have to admit, at the time, it was difficult for me to get her attention to take me seriously as a student.
So even back then in the 80s,
yeah,
you know, even though you ended up doing well, you're experiencing the same types of issues and problems that we're seeing now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. As far as so your guidance counselor was one. Now I know you had to take the bus to school.
Yes.
And so did we in
that was a daily thing, having to find loose change, you know, and it was literally not a matter of, I have a week's bus fare. It was a daily thing to try to make sure that mom was.
Bus passes were given to you, or
no bus passes. Finding the change to get to and from school, and it was one of those things that I attacked each hurdle one at a time because I could not see beyond. Let me get to school first.
Right.
And then if I can safely make it to school, then I will tackle trying to get time with my guidance counselor.
Got it.
And at school too, lunch, I consider myself blessed to have a school lunch because oftentimes mom trying to make ends meet with food bank services.
So were you on free or reduced lunch as well?
Yep.
Okay, I remember that too. Yes.
I was on free lunch. And, you know, there are times where if there are certain things in the lunch that I didn't finish, you know, I throw it in my bag and bring it home
so we can have
so that you guys can have
so I can have his milk. Know? I remember.
So
yeah. And
it was not easy.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
And I appreciate this moment because, you know, the thing is, you're the oldest and I'm the youngest, and between us, it's 10 years.
Yes.
And so, you know, if you have siblings out there, I see growing up, we didn't have much time to talk. So these are the types of things that I'm learning about my brother now in my 40s, right? So I think that's also crucial for us as siblings to kind of talk about these things. But in your now, you know, don't wait till 30 years later.
Exactly.
You know, if you can do it, right? I know we've taken different paths, you know, in our personal lives, but you know, I'm glad that we have this time to really talk about what it was like. So, and I'm glad that he's here. He lives closer to me. I could just come over before he was in California. So all in all, okay. So difficult time.
Getting to school.
Yeah. Resources.
It was work. It was an effort to try to get the help.
Were there any community centers that you recall, or that
at the
any
time
resources at the community?
I don't know. Yeah, if you remember, we had the Sunnydale Rec Center, the Visitation Valley Rec Center. Okay. But I'm sorry to say, if my earliest memories of those is that they were more of a place for parents to send their kids to keep them off the street. You know,
so the same as it is today.
It's like there weren't very many programs geared towards the help that I was looking for school. Yeah. So would you say it was just someplace to be, but were there any like enriching activities, or just here's ball, go play, here's ping pong? They had equipment to play sports and stuff, and they did offer free lunch, you know, during the week. Right. And for as simple as that may sound, I guess nowadays, but back then that was huge. Any help that we could have gotten with food, subsistence stuff, transportation. Yeah. Things that I guess we take for granted now. No. But back then, it wasn't readily available. So. Got it. Okay. So, and despite that, right, you were able to, again, let's go back to, despite the hardships and the lack of community resources that we were not aware of or knew of or took advantage of, or, you know,
what about
if I don't know if this is off topic or anything, but
okay.
of the 3 pillars that you mentioned here, if I could just say that because I'm more familiar with at home, having parents that talk to me and that check in with me on a daily basis, even though I know that, mom and dad, high school, great, dad was Navy, so he's had some training, but even though I was probably pursuing something that wasn't on their radar as far as higher education, I can't tell you how rewarding it was for me every night just to see mom come in and see me studying, and just the smile on her face when she saw that I was reading the books that I wanted. That was the encouragement that I needed, that I was doing the right thing. Chores and all the things that we do as kids in small families, that's fine. But that little extra incentive to keep taking the more difficult path of staying in school, read the books. I think if anything, that's what I strive to be now as a parent for to Noah, my son, is to let him know that I'm not just sending him to a school and then leave it up to them. I check in with him, make sure that I can help, let him know and guide him that he's doing the right thing for later on down the road.
Awesome. Okay, and so with the home, and you're the oldest of 5. Talk to our audience about being the older sibling of 5 wretched baby.
No,
wait, I'm talking about myself. No. Hold on.
and
how did you have to how was it like for you to balance helping mommy, doing the fit owls, making sure
setting the example,
because in a Samoan household, it starts from the top and moves down. How'd you handle that?
That was difficult. But I think what helped me and us out was how close-knit we were as kids growing up. That way I didn't feel like I was doing it alone, And I can't...
Did the sasas from mom help?
Oh, no. Those are required.
The belts are required.
But
that helped.
But no. I mean, I don't know if you remember the times where, like, if one of us got something or even a snack, we shared everything. I'm blessed that you guys, as the older brother for all of you, that there was never any sibling rivalry amongst us. It's like we succeeded together and we failed together. And when I was approved to go to Lowell High School, when I was selected to go to the Naval Academy, you guys were my biggest supporters.
Yeah, it was so awesome.
That I could not have made it and succeeded as well as I have if I didn't have the support of my brothers and sisters. That was key.
And that's awesome. And I think that is prevalent in our Samoan, families too, is that we're so close knit, and whether it's still alive and well or needs to come back, I'd love to make sure that we encourage each other as parents and as community leaders and members to keep that family
plus.
Support. Yes. And the reason why I asked that is because I wanted to just get into your mind of, like, although you had all of these responsibilities and these focuses, that one check-in from mommy and daddy. Just to see that you're doing well and you're doing your work that you had. Because I also remember growing up, you had this certain area, you would have your setup. And that's an activity that I actually introduced last week to our parents. And we'll get into your parenting soon. I noticed that, you always were either in your room or at a table, specifically, right? You just always be like, we knew Toa'ale is in his room, his door is shut. Oh gosh, he's doing schoolwork. And mommy and dad would be like, they were very like, do your homework. All of us too, though, but mainly just watching you growing up, I saw that was very important. Education. That was my space for, even though we had a very modest, small apartment. But there was always that place where I could go and feel that here I can focus on my schoolwork. But at any given moment,
should the need arise, I'm out there helping you guys do whatever, getting the songbooks together for church. But you know how it is. Get the Bible books and the song verses.
Yep.
But knowing that that space was set aside for me to do it, it was important.
Yeah.
You know, we shared everything, but it's important to have, you know, my study space.
And that's what my hope is, that for people to see that with having all of these accomplishments, you know, in front of you, you know, through your biography, that again, it takes just a little bit of effort.
Yes.
Despite the, you know, the lack of resources or, you know, the substance that we had, the income that we had, you know, and so it's still very doable. You know, the sky's the limit, so. And it was a public school, right?
Yes,
again,
it was.
So hello, I think that's a given, because if we're scrambling for change, there's no way we're gonna. And you know what? Again. So let's go into that. Okay. I'm glad we're segueing to that. So Lowell High School is one of the top high schools, right? In this day and generation, you look at it as private schools, right? You'd look at it as you need money for it. Now, had we been in that situation, we could have I know a lot of families out there who get scholarships, you know? So we get scholarships to go to these, not high-end, top
schools.
Top schools. And so what I want to now just kind of dive into is, now as a executive director of a nonprofit organization, I want to just share a few things with our viewers and supporters about how a nonprofit organization can help.
Yes.
So, you know, because again, going through what we went through and still you know, achieving, you know, major goals and obstacles and getting past a lot of naysays.
Sure.
You know, even though we had nothing, you know, we grew up poor, is knowing like what I know now as a nonprofit as part of a nonprofit organization, is what we could have done. Someone like us could have done for someone like you.
Right.
And now I know that you would have still achieved these major, you know, accomplishments, but it would have been a lot more easily done financially. Right. If we had. So I wanted to kind of, and because I was a little bit behind you guys, I just want to tell you a few things about, you know, just hearing, you know, my brother's story and sharing these things that affected him as a student growing up. I also just want to, I didn't have a chance to kind of bullet them, but I will definitely post them on our follow-up. And so as a nonprofit organization, we have resources. We have grants to help with bus passes, you know, so that you're not scrambling. We have grants that we can. So if you're a student out there in the Kent area, so again, if anything, there are restrictions, but as long as you know about the resource, then go for it, right? So if you're a student in Kent, we have a grant that will help with buying you bus passes to get to and from school. School's about to start, so please reach out to us if you need some bus passes for your students. Let us know. I will post and make sure I keep note on what to, so I don't forget to post tomorrow. A link so that you can get a bus pass for your student to get to and from school. We also have, you know, you didn't need the tutoring, but we have the ability to connect you to tutors. And I needed tutors. Yep. My math sucks. So getting tutors. So in your case, and again, with the need to talk to and get a hold of and keep accountable school counselors, we have the ability to call and talk to them for parents.
No, if I could just, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Just one thing too that I just wanted to clarify. One of the difficulties I had with trying to get one-on-one was at the time, counselors, we were in buckets. It's like they only devoted like an hour to the African-American students. They did it that way back then, and I always got lumped in with the Asians. But
at least there was a system, so they lumped you in, or was this just something that you figured out? Did they go, this is African American?
I found out in
Black Day. This is Asian Day. This is how did it go?
Again, this is one of the things where I discovered this as I decided, you know what, that time slot doesn't work for me. I'm just going to go down there during my lunch hour, and I just waited in the lobby.
Wow.
As students came in between whichever student had time, I would rush in and say,
"Oh wow,
you know,
look at that!
Do you mind if I?" And
that was your first protest.
And that's when I looked
Think for yourself.
I saw that she was grabbing student profiles from a bin, and on the outside of the bins, it said African American, and in the other bin, it said Asia Pacific Islander. And I'm like, because it was a very academic school, there were a lot of Asian students there.
Speak of that.
So here I am, the one Samoan.
Right?
Nothing against my Asian brothers and sisters.
Right. That's what I say.
I didn't feel that the equity in time split between the lone Samoan and the whole
floodgate of.
But that didn't discourage me. So what I did was I went during my lunch hour and snuck in between minutes just to kind of get a question in every now and then. So that was my experience. So
I want to go into that too. Okay, now let's because we still have some time here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you got into the Naval Academy. I remember I'm glad you brought this up because I remember you competing for getting into a college just like everyone does.
Yeah.
So nowhere near the competition that you had. Did they? What did the lumping you in to the Asian ethnicity group?
Mm-hmm.
Did that affect what the kind of resources that you had?
Yes.
And opportunities that you felt?
Yes.
Talk about that.
Effect in terms of that there were none available specifically to me
as a
Pacific Islander.
Because we were all Asian at
the time we were all lumped under Asians, and which
if we're old enough out there to remember.
And just real quickly, applications for university and colleges is a process. You know, I won't take away from that, but just for those of you who don't know, getting into a service academy, specifically the Naval Academy, it's not only the college application process, but you have to be nominated by a senator or congressman. Then you get presented before a board, and then the Naval Academy has to review your information, make sure you have your congressional nomination, and then see if you've got the activities, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. So for me, they weren't sure where to lump me as far as demographics. So basically, to level the playing field in their eyes, I basically was competing against everyone. So I wasn't selected as the Samoan delegate. No, I beat out every Caucasian, Asian in the state to be the primary nominee for our Senator Alan Cranston at the time.
Yeah.
So it was not the norm. But at the same time, it was well worth it. So, and I broke every statistical, for my age as a Samoan from a family growing up in the hood. By my age, I should have had one illegitimate child, have committed this, that, and the other thing. But what my point being that don't let that ever discourage you. It can be done. I did it.
Yeah,
so
I hear you.
There is hope. You can do it.
Awesome. And so again, we want to really just emphasize that with just pushing yourself, and although the not knowing about the resources that are out there, tonight we want to just really emphasize the fact that education can really level the playing field.
Yes.
Right? It helps you break all kinds of barriers, statistics, and just gain better opportunities. Okay. Right? Yeah. And just to make sure we're supporting the parents. And again, so the parents could come and just get out there and reach out, because back to what I was saying earlier, as a nonprofit organization, we have resources that can help students that were in our situation as growing up with very little, and I'm talking about not very little resources, but very little knowledge.
Right.
So a lot of our parents, our Samoan parents out there, Pacific Islander parents, just don't know about these resources, and they're not going to come to you. We were watching something warned earlier, and then they're just not going to come to you. You have to go out there and find them, and that's what you did. And again, advocate for yourself. But this time around, you don't have to advocate on your own. You know, if you're that Toa'ale that's trying to get into your counselor's office, the Education with Purpose Foundation for Pacific Islanders can make that phone call and make sure that that counselor is giving you everything you need.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that would be
and
amazing.
We also have volunteers that we train to go into the schools, you know, to go and get those scholarship binders that we can share with our parents, you know, so we can have you register with our program so that we know that you're interested in, you know, getting involved in the solutions of just creating better relationships with the home and the organizations and, you know, everyone that's out there in the community. And so again, that'll just help, you know, bring down barriers and just really get you to your goal, what you want to get accomplished, right? From scholarships, from preparing yourselves, from getting into internships, you know, for different kinds of college, different kinds of occupations. We were talking about that last night.
Right.
That you don't have to go to college to get a great paying job.
Right.
You know, you were talking about manufacturing,
opportunities in welding and certifications.
Certifications, you know. And I think I saw a parent somewhere in Facebook who had posted that, and all the different types of occupations, as long as, you know, you just apply yourself and you get into these certification programs, you know, you don't have to go to college, right? So there's different.
We're not discouraging people from
Hello, Stanford and Naval Academy. No, college is great, but again, I just do not want to bypass, you know, discussing that, you know, avenue. And again, we could do a workshop and talk about that as well as the year passes. So so again, get to know your, you know, your community, the adults that are in your communities. And okay, so I have one last question for you. Okay. So what will you do this school year now that you're a parent? Now that you see all of the resources that you were not aware of, didn't really, you know, have access to, now that you are, you know, bringing up, baby's going into high school. So he's going to be a 9th grader, my nephew. What will you do this school year to work more with the community? Very specific.
Yep, that's an excellent question. Knowing what I know now and being a parent, first and foremost, be involved with your child's school, and then work from, you know, attend a PTA meeting or what have you. Yeah. And then
would you call your counselor, school counselor?
Absolutely. Make sure you are on the.
Would it be once, or would it be like every so often?
Make sure you're on the group emails when they send out notifications about whatever. Get the alerts on how your child is doing in their classrooms.
And these are things that you're going to do specifically.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Because again, we want to talk to our viewers and supporters in what we're doing as parents. Right? We're not studying this, and we're not giving instructions and directions from a manual.
No. This is coming straight from my experience when I said that what was most important for me was seeing my mom engage with me while I did work. So I'm going to make sure that I stay engaged with my son, reach out to the teachers and counselors. And then as far as community, now that we're in the age of pandemic, you know, any activities, yes, definitely be cautious, you know, social distancing and what have you, but still information, you know, gather the information, make use of the information and resource. It's invaluable.
Do you use that program that parents can go into to check grades? We haven't even done that. Well,
the parent portal. It's like a student portal. Yep.
Okay, so if you don't know about the parent portal, families out there,
Parent View.
Yes, definitely. We can definitely help with that. As a nonprofit organization, we can show you how the parent portal works. You know, there's parents out there who know how to do it too. So please, if you're a parent that, you know, that knows how to use the grade portal and attendance portal, please teach your other parents in your homes immediate and distant, to just teach them how to use that. So that's one resource. I know it's 8 o'clock now. I'm sorry I started late, but I just appreciate you guys being here.
Yes.
And I really, really just want to encourage you guys to, again, this is a place where I know that we're covering a lot of issues and topics, but I'm hoping that because it's based around education and our culture, who better knows about it than us, right? Us, community, families, and homes. So this week, what I want to pose to our parents and guardians out there as an activity is write down a list. Really think about what are some ways in which you can improve your relationship with your community and your city. Okay, and so if you have any suggestions or ideas to try, please post it here, inbox it to us, and just again, just really, really take the just embrace your blessing of being a parent and being a part of homes where now we know more. Now we know how the community works, how we can engage our community centers and libraries and churches and, just people out there who really are a part of the educational system, things of that nature. Police, right? We can talk about the police because they are out there in the community. I know that's a big topic, right now. And I have a lot of projects with friends of mine that are in other organizations that we are fighting against police brutality and fighting for racial justice. So education is our passion, one of our passions, and we just want to make sure that we do not skip this, opportunity. So I want to thank you. I want to thank my big brother for being my first guest here, and I hope. Thank you, and I hope you guys just got some good information, advice, and insight on just preparing our homes for our children. Again, we are our children's first educators. We must take the responsibility as the adults that are in their lives to surround them with just good support and information and knowledge, because it's there for us. It's free. You don't have to pay for this, right? So, okay, I think we are done for tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
And if you have any questions, again, just please submit your questions or comments, because we look forward to furthering our discussions with you. And there's our information. Let me go. I think I have to go this way. No, this way. Under my slide. If you have any questions. Oh, and thank you, Paula. We appreciate you. And I did receive your sign up for our 2-week pilot project. So
nice.
Thank you. We look forward to working with you and your 8th grade daughter, as well as Hazel. So again, spread the word. We have a great update about it. Please just scroll down on our Facebook page. Lots of content for you to help you all just prepare for this upcoming school year.
Yes.
And thanks again to my big brother.
This is awesome. Amazing.
Okay.
You guys rock.
Okay. So as always, pray for us and we'll pray for you. Mwah. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. See, there we are. What's for dinner?
I know, right?
Okay.